Just feel nice to actually have me review a movie and, actually talking about a movie and not figures or a whole bunch of movies in one video. Just we're talking about one movie for a few minutes, and it's a movie that I actually really like. Rugrats in Paris. I reviewed the first Rugrats movie a little bit ago. This video is still up on the channel if you want to watch it. And the consensus on it is basically, let me sum it up here. It's okay. It's not a great movie. It's okay though. And I was basically looking forward to talking about Rugrats in Paris and dreading talking about Rugrats Go Wild, which I still have not watched, and I need to do that at some point. Who knows when that will be? Don't rush me on these things. I take my time to do things because I can. I think a lot of the Rugrats franchise is actually pretty good. I love the Rugrats in general, but they did obviously have a drop-off point. And this movie is set after the drop-off point for most people, which of course when Dill was born. I still think Dill is just a bad character and a bad idea, but this was a smart idea. You took a character like Chucky, who in the original series never had a mom. It was never, there was like, I think there was one episode, I can't remember exactly the episode. I haven't even seen that episode. I haven't seen every episode of the Rugrats because it's not on some streaming service that I really can just go find and watch these things. Well, you can't even buy the complete series, so, which is really dumb. Like, you think this is one of the most popular cartoons ever made, and they won't release it on DVD, like the whole series in like a box set? Really? Come on. I get there's like 10 seasons or something like that, but at least, come on. They only put these out in burn-on-demands, and they put these DVDs like out for the trilogy, which these are not burn-on-demand. These are actual DVDs you can buy. It's been long enough that honestly these movies should have been put on Blu-ray. Good Burger, Harriet the Spy. And Paramount has actually been working on putting a lot of movies out on Blu-ray recently. They got some John Travolta movies that they're getting ready to put out on Blu-ray. They got Clueless, Steelbook coming out. They got that Paramount Presents line where we talked about this in a video, 10 Commandments. They did that. So they're putting out more stuff this year. So I'm hoping that in the next few years here, we get those movies out on Blu-ray. I mean, just a $20 set of all three movies on Blu-ray from Paramount. I'd buy it. But, I like this idea for this story because it's an episode, it's something that you can do in a movie and it feels like epic for a movie. Like the Rugrats movie kind of just feels like an extended episode of the show. This feels like it actually has major stakes. There's actual, like, plot developments. It actually develops the characters in a way you wouldn't even see in the series. So Chucky and friends go to Paris because Stu has a boss there, and she wants to become the head of this company, and he's looking for a family person, and she hates children, so she tries to trick Chucky's dad into marrying her, and it's about Chucky find a mom. And it's amazing how well you get sucked into the emotions of this movie. Like this, these characters, and just the plot dilemma. It's amazing because this is not a show that's known. Well, I guess there are some emotional scenes in Rugrats. There's a few episodes like that episode about Chucky's mom again, which is pretty popular, pretty well known. One of the most sad episodes of the series for most people. I still haven't seen that episode. I need to watch it, but. I get that this is like a pretty popular show, and I think this is like a smart way to do it, and I think this was a really good story. I think the animation has a significant upgrade since the second movie. It looks a little bit better, though I do think the cinematography in this one with the animation is actually not as good as the first Rugrats movie. They're like Pacific shots that I thought were really amazing in the first Rugrats movie. This one, not as good. This one is definitely a little cheesier than the last one, especially in the soundtrack choices. Like they use "Who Let the Dogs Out," which is like in every animated kids movie ever in the early 2000s. I know, because I grew up watching a lot of movies with that song in it, and it's just like, that song is not that great. Also, Spike Came to Paris, which was just kind of weird. And there's parts of the movie that stop for that, and I don't like that at all. And I also just think, like, a lot of the soundtrack choices are just really bad. They're very of their time. I don't know why all these Rugrats movies feel like they have to be musicals. It's not like the whole show was a musical. Yeah, there were episodes, I guess, with song numbers. But, like, you don't need to make this a musical. Or just add songs in it. And it's just kind of dumb. Like, I don't get why it's in here at all. Like, it's really noticeable in the Rugrats Go Wild, which I'll talk about that one whenever I get to that one. But I am not opposed to these Rugrats movies being musicals, but if they were actually musicals, like the characters sing the songs and not just let's play some random song or create some random original song that has nothing to do with the story and just kind of is annoying. Like that Chucky Chan sequence. Here comes Chucky Chan. Like, that did not need to be in the movie. It interrupted the movie. Also, I think a lot of the chase sequences are really annoying. Like, they deliberately interrupt the movie, and I don't like that at all. I think it's quite irritating. I think this movie is pretty good for what it is. Like, it's fine. I think it's a pretty decent movie. But I think why this movie works so good is the story and how it develops the characters, and that's what really brings that from okay to actually pretty good, like surprisingly good. And I think it is a sequel that kind of deserves a little bit more respect because it actually is better than the original. And I think if more people have seen the first one, and I think that was just, I don't know. I think it was probably because when that one came out, Rugrats was at its peak of popularity, and then after that movie came out, it kind of went downhill, and people stopped watching the show, and so that reflected in the second movie's box office. So it made enough that they could make another movie, but it didn't make enough to really have a lot of people show up, I guess, or really remember this one. And then the third movie really dropped off and flopped. And it's because, like, it was kind of dumb. Like, why did you combine? Because I guess they thought the Wild Thornberrys movie was going to do better. So, like, before that movie even came out, they had this crossover movie in development, which was like, out of all the shows that you could cross over, Wild Thornberrys and Rugrats is pretty weird. I get that they were made by the same production company, Klasky Kupo, whatever. It's kind of like having like Arrow Monsters and then Angry Beavers crossover. It's like there's just something wrong here, and it just doesn't make sense. And I respect what they were trying to do, but I don't think it worked out that well. But overall, I think this is a pretty good movie. It's the best out of the trilogy. Like it's the Godfather 2 of the Godfather trilogy, the one that's actually better than the original. Which is funny I say that because there's actually Godfather references in this movie, the opening, and they actually make a joke about how like Angelica watched The Godfather, which was just hilarious. It just shows how inept the parents are. If I had really one major criticism, and this isn't really a major one, it's more of like a nitpick, but it's still kind of like, really? The ending is a little too ridiculous. It's this whole climax where they're going to Paris and this guy's chasing them. And it's like, I mean, they're running around like giant robots, destroying parts of Paris. And the parents never mentioned this. It was never on the news. Like, that's kind of a little weird. But I can kind of sort of ignore it a little bit because the parents are very inept and they're shown that throughout the series. Like, seriously, these kids have almost died so much in the show. But I don't know, I think that goes a little too far, just a little bit, but still a good movie. highly recommend it if you're a fan of the series, or just 90s Nickelodeon shows, or you just like a good animated movie, because this is a pretty good movie. Probably one of my favorite Nickelodeon movies ever made, honestly, but yeah, I still got a lot of movies to talk about. I really gotta talk about the Lord of the Rings movies. If you guys don't know, I've actually never seen Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. And I am going to watch them all when I finish with all these other movies here. And I'm going to sit down and I'm actually going to watch one a day, or at least half of one a day, because they're very long. And when I finish watching them all, I'm going to talk about the original cuts, the theatrical cuts, and then I'll watch the extended editions, talk about those, and then maybe we'll watch The Hobbit. I do not want to watch The Hobbit. I'm being honest. I just don't. And the extended versions for those movies just sound so bad, because it's like, I know those movies are already too long. I've read the Hobbit book twice. I read it once. The first time doesn't really count. I read it once. I read it from the library. I was about 10 or 12. And after the first 20 pages of Bilbo explaining about what his house looks like, I slammed that book closed and I returned it because I could not stand The Hobbit. And then I thought I should just read it and finish the book because I started it. So I did actually get the book again, or start from the beginning, and it was okay. I don't think The Hobbit is some masterpiece, well-written book. I think there is so much description, it's insane, and it's very irritating. I think the Lord of the Rings books afterwards fix this problem for me personally later on, because I just think the descriptions got like too long, and it was like, stop. Please stop it. Like, I don't need to know what Bilbo's house looks like. I just don't care. Dear gosh. But yeah, I like The Hobbit. I'm not gonna trash the book. Like, it's a good book. It's just not that. It's not a book I like that much though. But yeah, I guess I should go over the movies I'm gonna be talking about later on at Lincoln. I still gotta watch that. New Trolls 3, so I can finish out that trilogy. Sandlot. I did do that in a video I did put out recently. 10 films I don't like, so I did talk about the Sandlot there. TMNT, I gotta watch that. Rudy will probably be the last one I do, because I really don't want to watch Rudy. The Astro Boy, maybe for Revengeance, but I really just want to talk about Astro Boy. Roxanne. Storks. Mamma Mia. Guilty Pleasure. I have to keep saying that because I'm seriously afraid someone will watch this video and think I unironically like this movie. Chi Chi Chain Bang, Black Stallion, and Fiddler on the Roof. So those are all the movies here I gotta watch. And then I gotta watch Rugrats in a while too. So, you know, when all these are done, plus the movies, I probably will begin for my birthday, which I guarantee. I asked for an Ultraman set, so hopefully I get that so I can have the next one. And I got things like that to watch. I'm going to order some movies probably for my birthday too. So, you know, all that stuff. Plus, I still got to finish the Happy Days. I still got to do that. And King of the Hill. And Futurama. And The Simpsons. And, yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on. So, I also still have not finished this either. So, you know, that's another thing. So, I'm backed up for a while. But the good news is my schooling is almost done. And when that's done, I can actually get back to reviewing movies more on time, making videos more on time. Like this week, I'm probably going to have less assignments. I guarantee next week, they'll be taking back Chromebooks and stuff. I still got to talk about Batman Animated Series too. But, you know, there's a lot of things like that I got to do. So I got a lot going on. But the thing is, I'm going to get back into making videos on time. I'm just finishing up my schoolwork right now and getting that over with. And then when that's done, I can go back doing all this stuff. Like I did one of my last history assignments today. Like it was due Tuesday. I turned it in today. I'm time recording this Saturday, and I should have at least one more science assignment. Probably not, though. I don't know. I don't think I'll have any more math. I don't think I have any more English. I think it's just done. And all the teachers are just wrapping up their final assignments. So, you know, I think I'm pretty much done with that. So, yeah. So that's the dealio. I just wanted to make sure you guys are all clear about where I'm at right now with videos. Why there's a lot less. Now there was some Mandalorian announcements that I never talked about in a video, and I do want to talk about. So of course I will be talking about that in a video after this one.